What is up, everybody? In this video I just want to talk about one of my favorite Dragon Ball movies in general, which is the first Cooler movie, Cooler, The Revenge of Cooler, not Metal Cooler, the first one. Now, I just want to talk about if this movie holds up compared to the other movies, because I did do a Gogeta video not too long ago. That one, I think that Gogeta movie does hold up for the most part. I just want to make one about Cooler because I really do love the Cooler movie as well, and Cooler is probably one of my favorite Dragon Ball movie villains in general as well. So, when this movie starts, it's just kind of I mean, they're just eating or whatever, and then, you know, when it very first starts, Cooler sees Goku, you know, as like a baby go, you know, he sees that one pod escape, and then he realizes Frieza's dead, and then he goes to planet Earth, and then all that cringe happens while they're trying to eat, and then Cooler shows up with his armored squadron, and then they somehow get the jump on Goku. I think Goku was trying to protect Gohan, and they get him, and then, you know, they have to check if they're dead or whatever, and I'm pretty sure the dragon's there too, and it's just kind of like a bit slowish, kind of a slog at first, with Gohan going to get the sensu beans, and, you know, them just hiding in a cave while Goku's just like laying down. When the movie really does start to pick up in pace is when Piccolo shows up to fight the 3 armored squadron guy, which is pretty clean. I think that fight was pretty cool. It was cool seeing Piccolo just come out of nowhere and just start to throw down, especially with all of them. It was pretty clean. For the armored squadron in general, if I liked them or not, I didn't care for them too much, not gonna lie. They weren't my favorite. I mean, the fight scene was cool, like, especially with Salza and Piccolo's, like, kind of reminded me of the Star Wars scene a little bit where they were going through the forest. It was pretty clean. But I didn't care for the armored squadron in general like that. You know, I thought they were okay. Didn't care for them too much, though. They did give me Ginyu Force vibes, but I never cared for them like that. The Ginyu Force definitely solos. I also remember when Gohan was trying to give the sensu beans, and Salza was smart enough to, you know, burn them or whatever, and then Cooler shows up out of nowhere and is holding Piccolo's body. He's like, "Does this belong to you?" And it's like, "Oh man, you did him dirty." Now the fight scene between Goku and Cooler, I really did kind of like the fight scene, but if you do break it down bit by bit, the fight scene isn't the best, not gonna lie. You know, it's just, you know, Cooler transforms. He starts bodying Goku in his base form. Literally bodying him now. Broly bodied him, but I think Cooler, because this was a 1v1, he showed off a lot more Cooler, no pun intended, but he did do a lot more Cooler things, like plant him like the dumbass tree. You know, he literally planted him into the ground. He was just doing ridiculous stuff like the dive kick, and then he kicked him, and then he went back up and then kicked him again. It was really cool seeing Goku try to use Kaioken and Cooler just kind of go through the beam and just punch him right in his face. Then dive kick him and then kick him again. It was definitely pretty clean seeing Cooler do that stuff. And then afterwards, Goku kind of just grabs a bird that, like, he tries to revive the bird, and it's so goofy, kind of like, just like, what? Like, he heals the bird, and then Cooler's like, "I say who lives and who dies," and then Goku just, like, kind of transforms into the Super Saiyan, and it's kind of goofy. He's like, "Let's play by your rules, Cooler." It's so goofy, and then he starts kicking him, and then he blasts him, and then Cooler's like, "You should have never taken your eyes off me, Saiyan," because he throws the big supernova thing, and then Goku pushes it back, and then Cooler just, like, kind of, just like Frieza, he dies to his very own blast, basically. Or like Frieza was cut in half by his very own blast. Kind of like Frieza in that regard. He just gets taken up by his own energy, and then he goes all the way to the damn sun. All the way to the sun, and then he burns, and he's dead. for now until the Metal Cooler movie, obviously. But for the most part, I think this movie's okay. When I watched it as a kid, I definitely loved this movie a lot more. When I rewatched it, I was like, it's okay, it's alright. The fight scenes, I remember being better as a kid, but now watching them, I'm like, yeah, the Cooler versus Goku fight is okay. I mean, it's very just like Cooler's winning, then Goku's winning, and then it's over kind of feeling. That's how it feels. You know, Cooler does show off some really cool and flashy stuff, like he's behind him, and Goku's like, what? You know, definitely super flashy stuff and moves that Cooler does show off, and going through the beams and, you know, kicking him, dive kicking him, and planting him down. I do think Cooler does show off some really nice stuff, but the fight scene feels very just like Cooler's winning, then Goku's winning, and then it's over. I feel like it's also a little bit fast as well. Like, with the Armored Squadron, their fight scene with Piccolo was pretty clean. That was also a tiny bit fast, but like that makes sense, you know, that's not the main fight. With other Dragon Ball movies like the Broly movie, practically most of the movie is that big fight scene. It's just all of them fighting Broly. And in this movie, Gohan and Krillin and I guess they don't really do anything like that. And Oolong is there too, but he's Oolong, but Gohan and Krillin don't really do anything in this movie that much. Gohan goes to get a Sensu Bean, or he kind of gets bodied as well. Like, Gohan kind of does stuff, but doesn't really fight that much back, from what I remember. And Krillin doesn't do too much either. They're just kind of there. Gohan tries to give him the Sensu Beans, but he burns most of the bag, and I think he just has one left. I do think the side characters like that don't do anything in this movie like that. And Piccolo does do some stuff. I don't care for the Armored Squadron too much, but Cooler as a villain, I know a lot of people are just like, most of the time when I see people talk about Cooler, it's, oh, Cooler is so much cleaner than goddamn Frieza. He is so clean, bro. He just looks cool, and he's actually fighting like super cool. Like, you got those type of people who defend Cooler just because he looks cool and he has kind of more of a funnier fight scene. And then you have the people who just say, oh, well, he's just like Frieza. He's just like kind of a great value Frieza. But in that regard, I can't lie, he kind of is. He does a lot of stuff that Frieza does do. He's even got his own Ginyu Force. You know, he does do certain things like that. But I do still like Cooler, even though you can say he might be a discount Frieza. I still do like Cooler. His design is really cool, and his voice is kind of goofy, but I like his voice as well, and I like the way he fights. I do like Cooler because he did, before Frieza got golden form, Frieza didn't train like that. Cooler did train to get that form, so it was kind of cool seeing like someone of Frieza's race actually trained to get stronger instead of training to get transformations to be weaker, which was what Frieza did before he got golden. So I think Cooler was a kind of cool in that regard, but for the most part he is kind of a discount Frieza, not gonna lie. But I still enjoy Cooler in general. He's still goofy and funny, and I still love him. He's probably like my second favorite movie villain. First is probably Broly, then it's Cooler, but Cooler, you know, he's still pretty cool. I do like Cooler. I don't think he's that bad. But the movie in general, I would say, is like 7 out of 10 probably. I think it's very just like maybe 6. I don't think it's that great of a movie, to be honest. I do still kind of enjoy this movie in a weird way just because I'm biased. I have a lot of great memories watching this movie when I was younger, but I would say it's like a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's that great, and sometimes it's a bit of a slog, and the fight scenes are okay, but you guys let me know what you guys think of the movie down below, and if you guys want me to do another Dragon Ball movie, I would happily do that. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one. Peace.